Live now. Hello. So I'm just doing a follow-up on my work that I was doing yesterday. I gotta fix my hair. How's that? Is that better? Okay. So I discovered after I discovered that the frets needed a leveling crown on this instrument. I also found a scratch in this that I want to remove today. Let me clean my lens off here because it might be a little bit dirty. Okay, so we've got a scratch in this thing that I want to remove, and I just thought I'd share with you what we can do about a scratch like this. I believe the guitar was purchased with this scratch in it, and there's a lot of scratches in this guitar, but I'm really going to take care of this one. I'm not being paid to do a bunch of cosmetic work on this guitar, but I don't think this will take too terribly long to do. And let me show you a little tool that I've got here. I could get rid of all the fuzz here from pick scratching, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to get rid of this one right here on the instrument. Let me get some stuff out of the way here, and we'll get going on this. I hope everybody's having a really great Tuesday. This should not be a terribly long video, so we're just going to go ahead and get started on this, and we're going to wet sand this, and I'm going to start off with some 600 grit, and that's to get this finish leveled. I like to call it leveling. I'm not going to get too crazy with it, but let me make sure my cameraman's not too drunk today. He does drink a lot. He can't follow me at all. He can't keep up. So we're just going to go over this. The scratch in this finish is not all the way through down to the wood. So I'm going to be real careful not to go too far with my sanding process here. And I'm just making really small circular swipes over the scratched area. It's one straight scratch, so this thing got, you know, slid down a sharp object, or maybe got hit with a tool or something. This is not a scratch that I put in this instrument, not at all. Okay, so we're just gonna go over this and try and get it down to the point where it's level. This is just for leveling out the scratch on this. Hello Hugh, what's happening? Thanks for being here today, man. Okay, so I can see that I've got a little bit left there and just a little bit left here where I haven't gotten it leveled yet, so we'll do a little bit more, and I'm just going to put a little bit of water on this, and we'll get going on a little bit more leveling action here with the 600 grit. I don't like on an already finished guitar, I generally don't like starting. I could have started maybe with some 400, which would have been a little bit more aggressive and maybe a little bit faster at getting rid of this scratch. But we're going to remove, if not all of it, most of it. I'm not going to sand through the finish. That would be a major repair that I would have to take care of. So I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, and the fact that this gentleman who owns this guitar has brought a couple others in for me to work on, because he was so confident with my work and trusting of my work after I repaired his carbon for him. And I can see now that the scratch has absolutely been removed, except for one little spot right there. And I know you probably cannot see this on the camera, but you can see the dull spot where I've sanded on this a little bit. And I'm going to go over it one more time, just so my conscience is clear. And again, I'm not going so far as to go through the finish. That's the last thing you want to do when you're doing a little favor like this. This is more of a favor for this guy, so he doesn't have to look down and see that nasty scratch in this guitar for the rest of the life of this guitar. This is a really cool RG. Ooh, boy, I'm getting close. I can see that the finish is getting light right here. So I'm going to stop. I am going to stop. And now I'm going to hit it with some 1500 grit. I'm going from 600 to 1500. And I like to fold my sandpaper in half. And I'm just going over it very lightly, almost zero pressure. I'm not pushing down on this sandpaper at all. I'm just going over it to get the grooves and little scratches that are in it from the 600 grit out of the finish, so it's nice and level. No scratches. You got this one spot right here where I may have gotten a little bit too aggressive with the 600, but that's where the deep spot of the scratch was in this instrument. So we'll just I'm just going to go real lightly over that spot. And I think that the way this thing is colored is that the lacquer is actually colored. It's not, I don't believe that the wood, I don't know, but the way this is behaving, I don't think that the wood is actually colored. I believe that the lacquer might be what the color is in this. Correct me if I'm wrong. There we go. Any new music coming from you, Hugh? Hi, Richard. Okay, so I'm going to go from 1500 to 2000 grit, which really don't need to do, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just to make the polishing process a little bit easier. And again, I'm just going really lightly over this. No, I'm not pushing down on the sandpaper or letting, I mean, it's just basically the weight of my fingers is touching up this this finish, so that when I polish it, it'll be really simple. This is a lot like polishing your car. If you've ever done some polishing on a vehicle, not a lot of us do that anymore unless you're got nothing but time on your hands. But I'm just going really lightly over this thing, really light, and I'm fanning it out. I'm getting wider and wider as I go, just to feather it out, fanning it out, feathering it out, a lot like if you were doing sheetrock repair with mud. Okay, you can see now I've got this nice wide spot on this instrument, and I've gotten the scratch completely nullified on here. Now I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to get all of the water from my wet sanding, just using water. Yeah, boy, we got really close to going through right there, but it'll look better than a big scratch in the instrument. Oh, come here, hang on. I didn't have my tool out ready to go, and we'll use this bad boy and make sure I got my polish here. I'm using a lavalier mic today. Been busy. That's good, Hugh. I've been absolutely totally not busy with music. Not terribly inspired these days. I haven't been writing anything, so wish me luck on that, I suppose. So I'm using a semi-chrome polish, and we'll spread it around a little bit, and then we'll use my cool polishing tool that my brother-in-law gave me for a birthday gift a couple years ago. This semi-chrome is a really excellent polish. It does a really stellar job, and this little tool that I'm using makes this process a whole lot easier and faster than doing it by hand. You just want to be careful not to melt through the finish if you get it hot. Probably going to have to do 2 applications of it and two rotations of the tool. We'll see, maybe just one. You want to just make that that dull spot that I sanded into the finish vanish. So if you got a scratch on your guitar, and it's really bugging you, and I can see that I'm going to definitely need to get more polish on this. I can see that I have not gotten through the dull part, but we'll knock this off of here and see how she looks. Got a little moisture on my rag there. Oh, here we go. I need to grab a new rag. Give me a moment. I'm gonna walk over here. I ran out of my rags. Can't believe I did that. So I usually don't use these types of polishing rags. If you've watched my channel much, you don't see me use these premium plush. We usually sell these. These are really fluffy polishing rags, and they work great. But I just use the cheap dollar store rags most of the time, just because they don't cost as much as these ones in general. Alright, so we're getting close. We're getting really close. You can see that little light spot right there. Maybe I don't think the video's showing that, but we're going to go over it a couple more times probably here. I'm going to use one more application of this. If this doesn't get through it, I'm going to go back to my car polish, which I think is a little bit more aggressive. Hi, Charlie. Welcome. Yeah, Hugh, I've been playing live, but not very much. Our band only plays once a month, and we have nothing booked in November. And got a situation with the bass player, which I tell all of my guitar students, don't play guitar, play bass, because you'll always have a job. But our bass player is currently applying for jobs as an electronics engineer. That's his field of study, and he is an expert at that stuff. And he may be moving away, and we may lose him. So that's going to put a dent in the live performances. So we've been offered a couple shows in November and December, but we can't book them not knowing what's going to happen with Jacob, our bass player. And so that's going to really be a bummer if he moves away, because we've really made a good name for ourselves, and you know, the band's been going for 20 years, and you know, so people are well aware of the name of the band, and it's gone through many iterations of different musicians who've been members of it. Okay, and now that I've gotten through that, I can see that the scratch is all the way through the finish into the wood. So I am not going to go any deeper than that, but I am going to I can see that I wasn't able to remove where's my McGuire? Sorry about all the disappearing act that I'm playing here. So I'm going to use the Ultimate Compound excuse me, by McGuire's, and then we'll move on to finishing up this guitar, getting it all set up. Yesterday, while working on it, I discovered that it needed a fret level. Unfortunately, the frets were so bad on this thing, and I don't know if this guitar got hit, and I really don't know what happened. But the frets were really bad. So we'll take a look at the fretwork that I've done here in just a little bit here, as soon as I get this done polishing this up. This does look a whole lot nicer, but again, I did not get down through the crack or the scratch in this. It looked like I had done it, but I hadn't gotten far enough. You know, like when I was sanding on it, wet sanding on it, I feathered the sanding out. Well, I'm feathering the polishing compound out and going a little bit wider than the actual, just the straight area that where the rough part was. It wasn't terribly rough, just because I used 2000 grit on this, which is what I used on the frets. And we're getting close now. Now we're starting to get a nice shine on this thing, but it needs a little bit more love here. I can see, I don't know if you can still see the scratch. Let me see if I can maybe move the angle of this camera. I don't know if you can see that at all, but it's still a little bit rough, so I'm going to have to go over it with some polishing compound one more time. And sometimes it takes a little bit to get it. This is taking a little longer than I expected, but so be it. I just thought I'd try and help this guy make his guitar look a little bit nicer. He's been a very good client of mine. He knows what he wants. He's a fantastic guitar player, and he brought me in. So far, I've had, in the last 3 weeks, 4 of his guitars in my care, and a couple of them were major overhauls, which this one isn't anything like totally weird or abnormal that I see, but a lot of times you know, I'll find something wrong with the guitar and the owner won't want me to take care of it, and this guy's like, if it needs it, you do it. So I'm doing everything I can to help this guy out and hopefully ensure that he'll come back. Really cool dude. Hopefully my sound's okay today. Hopefully you guys can hear all right. It seems like you can. I haven't had anybody say I can't hear you. Yesterday I had a weird issue where my camera mic got shut off somehow. I don't know. And I was spent about 10 minutes broadcasting and nobody could hear my voice. So that was kind of a bummer. But, alright. Now we're getting to the point where I'm thinking, I've done about all I can do to help make that look a lot better. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, in doing what I've done here, I've not made it worse, but made it about equal to what it was before I started. So sometimes, you know, when you try to help someone out, you end up digging a bigger hole than you need, or creating a whole bunch more work. But it looks nice. It's got one little circle right here. I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe this will show. See that little circle right there? It's just that the finish, I don't know what's going on. That might have been a drip or something from the factory, because really strange looking little divot. But it's all polished up now and looks nice. So we'll move forward from that point and get into setting this thing up and tuning the guitar up. So yeah, so that's how you do that. If you got a scratch in your guitar, you can make it a little bit better by doing a little bit of wet sanding and a little bit of polishing, and you'll end up with your guitar looking a little bit nicer than it did before you did it. And this looks pretty sweet. It's nice and smooth now, and that's not that obvious big old scratch in this thing. Okay, so take a look at our strings here. Interesting. Okay. Seems like there's a little bit of something on that pickup, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So yesterday in my while doing some work on this thing, I realized that the frets needed a level and crown, which I've done that and polished them and treated the fingerboard. Did all that yesterday afternoon. So at this point, we're really at the point of tuning this thing up, which I've already had it tuned up, so this shouldn't take too long. I shouldn't need to sit here and stretch strings and do all that stuff for too terribly long. Now let me check the chat here. Hello, this looks like there's about 6 of us. Charlie, it's really great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Boy, your sound has really come a long ways, brother. So this thing is drop C tuned. So it's C, G, C, F, A, D, right? I guess I am going to have to stretch them. I know, yeah, and this is the... And I had already put these strings on here and stretched them out really nice. I played the guitar a little bit yesterday, but boy, there's a couple frets out in here that were just so tall. It was just rocking really bad. And so we took care of that. There was no I did attempt, if you watched the video from yesterday, I did attempt to knock them back down with a hammer, and they were not having any part of that. I just couldn't correct it with anything other than a fret level. That was my not my last resort, it was the only resort to really fix this thing right. And this guy wants his guitars done right. There's a weird... Oh. Huh. That was interesting. There's like something stuck to the string. It felt like maybe a little bit of super glue maybe got on that. Interesting. And I did have to glue this fret right here. You can probably see a little bit of rough spot on the fingerboard right there. I had to glue that one back into place. It was just loose. Come on. All right. All right, so now I'm going to check our string height here, because I did have to remove quite a bit of material off of these frets to get them all level. Okay, we're at 3. Boy. Okay, so what I can say is that I removed probably, oh, what would I say? Maybe a third of a 64th of height off of all of the frets to get the string action, or to get the frets leveled. And you know, again, I'm really hopeful that I have accomplished my goal. And now what I'm doing here, I can see that I'm kind of doing a mojo move here, where I'm not really measuring anything, but here at the saddles, I'm giving each one a half a turn. So we'll just get the wrench into the saddle and give it a full half turn, moving all of them the same distance. Right? And I'm gauging that by where my hex key is pointed, and I just turn it a half turn. All right. Now everything stays consistent. My neck radius was just fine. The strings were following the neck radius just perfectly, which was really nice. My saddles are all level, and everything looks good. So just moved everything half. So I'm gonna have to tune this thing back up because everything should be a little bit flat. Okay, now that I'm at this point, I haven't checked the nut yet, but I want to check my leveling work, make sure this is all good. You know, and I know if you get bored learning something, go ahead and just tune out. If you'd rather just sit around and not talk about anything, you know, important or you know, educational, that's fine. I'm used to it. If I have 2 viewers, I'm really happy. So I mean, I literally leveled these frets yesterday, and there is still, let me turn this guitar on. Probably, I don't think it's been plugged in all night. I'll have to check. I may have to put a new battery in it. May have to put a new battery. I don't think it was plugged. Okay, so I've got this spot, and there might be something severely wrong with this neck. So I can't fret a note right there after leveling the fingerboard. So this boy. So I need to check the neck relief on this instrument now. Let's check the neck relief, see where that's at. Oh boy. Okay. Where? There you are. See if I have any neck relief at all. This is really, and that's exactly where the problem was yesterday, and I leveled them down and I'm still having the exact same problem. So this may have something more going on with it than I'm aware of, or can be aware of. Let's see. Well, there's definitely enough neck relief, but I'm going to turn the truss rod and see if I can remove that buzz, because or the not buzz, but the unfortunate fret trouble right there that I didn't correct. It took me about an hour and a half to level these frets because I had to take so much material off of them. These frets were so tall, and again, you know, I colored them all with blue ink and sanded them down, and the fret that's not working right now was blue for a long time. I'm not going to lift it. Yeah, this fret right here, so this one actually seems short. So here's what I'm going to try to do. Now I have a fret puller here that I use if I have to refret a guitar, and we're going to see if I can't lift that fret ever so slightly. So just barely move that fret. Wow. This is just weird. This is a strange way to have to fix. And now obviously that's going to be, And this is what I mean by chasing frets. This fret is, let's check with our rocker. Pain in the neck, some of this stuff. I'm going to grab a new G string because that string is bent. That could be why that's happening. There's a bend right there on that fret, and that may be a result of having struck it with a hammer. So let's get this string off of here and put a new one on it and see if that solves our little issue that we're having here. All these little technical things, my goodness. Sometimes things get a little bit wonky, and you got to do a lot of weird stuff to get a guitar to work correctly. Welcome to my world. Sometimes it ain't so easy. Give me a second here. I'm trying to get this string off of this guitar. Let me get you over here where you can see what I'm up to. Not a lot going on in the chat. I don't know if y'all are just watching or watching other stuff. Probably watching other stuff on other channels on YouTube. Probably what's going on. So, which I totally do that. I do that to everybody's live stream. I never watch the whole thing, especially when they play just terrible music. I ain't watching that. All right, so I need a G string, which is a 17. No. What did I use on this? Yeah, I gotta go grab a 17. Give me a moment. I'm hoping you can still hear me. Not that anybody's watching or listening. Alright. Let's see. Come on, 17. There we are. Alright. Okay, I gotta make sure that he wanted me to tune this to drop C. Oh no, it was the other one he wanted to tune to drop. He has another one here that he wants. It's a Schecter that he wants tuned to drop B. Come on. Of course, these strings are gonna play hard to get. Okay, I'm gonna unplug this so we don't kill the battery. Right. 1, 2. Let's see. You know, and terrible music being played on YouTube, you know, it's terrible to me. It's not terrible to everybody. So, I mean, there's a lot of really good music out there, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff. But like really interesting stuff, like why I wonder sometimes. I get it that a lot of people think they're great musicians, but boy, there's some really bad stuff out there. Really bad stuff. I mean, nobody would listen to that. If we think about what the radio stations back before everybody and their dog could record music, it's really amazing how much really terrible stuff is out there that nobody in their right mind would really listen to unless they're feeling sorry for somebody, and I don't know, just kind of weird. I just don't like wasting my time listening to terrible music. There we go. Now we got it. Now we got her. Oh, and look at that. So here's another thing that I get to fix. Now I had to glue one fret in, and I've gotten some CA glue on the back of this neck. So I need to scrape that off. So we'll show you how to fix that. Is in the yeah, whatever, you play some good songs, some interesting songs. Now, you know, with respect to acoustic music, I don't sit around and listen to acoustic music because I've done it so much that all of the songs that a lot of people play I can play myself, of course. So I'm the guitar player that sits in the back of the room with his arms crossed going, I can do that, but not really. But I do go out and support live performances here in my own town. But, you know, sometimes some channels probably should think about their content a little bit more than they do. Not that whatever I play is always all that great. I do make mistakes. But that's part of my, that's improvisation. It's not a song that I say I wrote and performed terribly. You know, but a lot of times guys that do that stuff, they've worked their whole lives, and you know, now that they're getting older, they can slow down and retire, and they can dive into their love of music, which is all fine and dandy, but come on, I get it. It's fun to watch people learn, but it's also fun to listen to people play some good music when time allows for that. And I'm just kind of thinking out loud right now, probably not making a whole lot of sense, but you know, across the music world I'm known as a dick, so which I really don't care. I like to state facts, and I like to be honest. I'd rather be honest than encourage stuff. I think that's disrespectful. And there's a lot of YouTube channels out there, not a lot, but a few anyway, that encourage you know, people, and tell them how great they are, when in reality and I've heard some really, you know, guys that are what I consider to be really great players release some pretty terrible music, and I'm certainly guilty of that. I don't expect everybody to love everything that I write. In fact, if everybody did, something would be wrong with the world, right? Now I'm having to get this CA glue off the side of this neck. Some of it dripped down here. I'm just scraping enough off of here that my last effort will be taking some sandpaper to it, just smoothing it out. Sometimes we got to make them worse before we make them better, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, there's that, and we'll grab a little bit of a 600. Yes, I just tore the sandpaper. I did not cut it with scissors. Bought myself a new pair of scissors yesterday. I can feel the bump on that, so I want to scrape some more. I don't like to have to sand for hours on stuff like this, so I can tell that the CA glue is still built up here on this section of it. So the new Rolling Stones album is out now, which you may be able to hear in the background here, and I'm going to get to listen to that record probably for 4 or 5 months straight. Hello, how you doing today, man? Good.
Still working on that guitar?
Nah, this is a different one.
Marshall, this is my friend David.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I mean, get out of my way.
Let me
Now that you were so nice, now I get macho.
Yeah, I had to drag. You always were a macho,
Okay.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since you kicked Gun Fry out of
Street
Pep.
Fighter.
Oh, yeah. You and Curry.
What are you up to?
You and Curry. I'm up to about 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know they stacked shit
There's
that high.
6'4". Good grief. Okay, guys. Thanks for being with me today. Peace. All right.
Are you doing an online thing?
Yeah.